Thank you for the introduction and thank you for coming. I'm going to talk about Sensicon, an automatically constructed sensorial lexicon. Since exploiting sensorial information, sensorial elements in the language is a novel concept for the NLP area, I would like to talk about first senses in the language, the relation between senses and the language. And then I'm going to give some motivational use cases about this lexicon. And then I'm going to talk about lexicon construction, and then I'm going to explain our evaluation strategy. Traditional and most common classification of senses consists of 5 sensorial modalities, which are sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. The relation between these senses, these sense categories, and our understanding of the world has been an important philosophical topic dating back to Aristotle. This relation between the senses and our understanding of the world can be simply our perception mechanism. By using our perception mechanism, we can process the data coming from our sensory organs, and we become aware of our environment, and we can interact with each other, and we can interact with our world. While this perception is a very private experience, and it depends on each human being, we can share our private experiences by using the language, and we can embed sensorial elements in the language, and we can describe our private experiences, and we can describe our perception of the world. There are various types of sensorial elements in the language. In this very simple example, I saw a bright light. We can see 3 of them. The first one is to see, and it shows a perception activity. And the other one is bright, and it's an adjective, and it's a perceived sensorial feature. And the last one is light, and it's a physical phenomenon that we can see. After this short introduction, I would like to give some motivational use cases of a sensorial lexicon, which associates words with 5 sensorial categories. Our first motivation is that by using a sensorial lexicon, we can induce more concrete imagination, and we can increase readability and understandability of a text. To give as an example, when describing a new product in the advertisement, to persuade the people to consume it, or at least to try it, it is important to build its concrete reflection, the product's concrete reflection in the minds of the target audience. Such as in this example, it tastes like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy. In this advertisement slogan, we are using two sensorial categories, which are sight and touch, to increase the concreteness in the imagination. A second motivation is that a sensorial lexicon can be used as an aid for people with sensory disabilities. A very simple example for this motivation is that we can simply replace sight-related expressions in the text while teaching a concept to a congenitally blind child with some, let me say, hearing-related expressions. Another motivation is that we can affect human psychology by inducing a positive or negative sentiment in a text by using a sensorial lexicon, by using sensorial expressions. Let's look at this example. It's a real tweet. That nasty smell of blocked drains has seeped across my timeline again. In here, we can see that by using a smell-related expression, such as nasty smell, we are giving a negative sentiment to this text. Another motivation, we can also boost effectiveness of advertisement by means of synesthesia. Synesthesia in linguistics is a metaphorical, synesthesia in the linguistics is a metaphorical transfer between the senses. In this example, the loudest taste on earth, which is a Doritos advertisement slogan, we are using 2 different sensorial modalities, which are hearing and taste, and we are creating an effective slogan by surprising the audience. After our motivations, I'm going to talk about our lexicon construction strategy. We are using very simple but an effective methodology. The first step is that we select some seed words which are directly related to sensorial modalities, 5 sensorial modalities. And in the second step, we bootstrap these seed words, this seed set. And in the last step, we analyze some corpus statistics to create the final lexicon. To select the seed words, we conducted an annotation task with 3 annotators from FrameNet. As I assume, as all of you know, already know, which is FrameNet, but it is built upon semantic frames of concepts in English and lexical units evoking these frames. After this annotation task, we gathered 31 frames, which are highly related to senses, and such as color, perception, experience, or perception, and 277 lemma-post sense pairs with 100% agreement. Some examples of our seed words are verb click related to hearing, adjective yellow related to sight, or noun perfume related to smell. In the second step, to bootstrap the seed set, we used the relations, semantic relations in the WordNet. To migrate from FrameNet to WordNet, FrameNet lexical units to WordNet synsets, we use MapNet. At each bootstrap iteration, we expand the seed list by using these semantic relations, such as direct antonymy, hyponymy, or similarity. And then we employed tenfold cross-validation to evaluate the accuracy of the new expanded seed list with the WordNet glosses. And to decide a cut point for our bootstrapping cycles, we check if the cross-validation accuracy drops or remains the same. After the bootstrapping cycles, we obtain the final seed synset list, which consists of 2,572 synsets, and this list yields the highest performance when used to learn a sensorial model. The number of iterations that we used as the cut points for each sensorial category are second cycle for sight, the first cycle for hearing, third cycle for taste and smell, and fourth cycle for touch. In the last step, we analyze the co-occurrence of each candidate unique lemma-post pair in the corpus with the seed set. In this definition, our corpus is a subset of English Gigaword 5th edition released by LDC, and it includes 79,800 sentences. A co-occurrence event is the coexistence of a candidate word and a seed word within a window of 9 words, which means 4 words before and 4 words after the candidate word. And a candidate lemma post is a lemma from the corpus which has at least 5 co-occurrences with seed words. To calculate the association degrees between the seed words and our candidate words, we use normalized point-wise mutual information. By point-wise mutual information, we can calculate the measure of the association of two events. We calculated the normalized version of PMI between lemma-post and 5 sense events, and we obtained the association values between -1 and 1. Finally, the constructed lexicon, Sensicon, contains 22,684 lemma-post pairs and their association values with 5 senses. Now I'm going to talk about our evaluation methodology. Since there is no attempt in the literature, to the best of our knowledge, to create such a lexicon, we needed the gold standard data for the evaluation. To create a gold standard, we used a crowdsourcing task from Crowdflower, and first we collected 340 sentences to be annotated, and 300 of them are advertisement slogans from 11 categories such as fashion, food, beverages, and 40 of them are story sentences from a story corpus. The reason behind the selection of story sentences is imagery. Imagery is the vivid and descriptive language which is highly and frequently used in literary work. These sentences to be annotated, they consist of at least 5 tokens and contain at least one adjective, verb or noun. And we also replace brand names in the advertisement slogans to get rid of bias as much as possible. In the annotation task, we ask 2 questions to the annotators. The first one is the human senses conveyed or directly described by a given sentence? In this example, we can see this is a very simple example. I heard a song, and this is directly related to hearing sense. And the second question is the association of the words in each sentence with at least one sense. And from this sentence, we can see that there are two words which are highly related to hearing, heard and song. We also created 20 control sentences which were highly associated with a specific sense and which included at least one sensorial word. And we expect 10 reliable raters for each sentence with at least 70% accuracy. The annotations with a majority class greater than 5 are considered as reliable. Here you can see the annotation results in terms of advertisement categories. Intuitively, we were expecting some advertisement categories should be directly related to some sense categories, such as food and beverages. We were expecting the categories food and beverages are related to smell. But at the end of the annotation task, we saw that the slogans, the advertisement slogans from the categories of food and beverages are almost never used smell-related expressions. We adopted an evaluation strategy which was designed which was designed to evaluate English lexical substitution task. In this task, the answers of the system are evaluated by using a gold standard, like our approach. The first measure from this task is that the first score provides a credit for the best answer of the system, and it divides the credit among the answers if there are more than one. And the second score allows 2 answers and does not divide credit. We conducted 2 evaluation tasks, a sentence-based task and then a lemma-based task. The sentence-based task includes a very simple classification method by taking the average sensorial scores of lemmas in the sentence. And in the lemma-based task, we define a relation between a lemma and a sense if the association value coming from the lexicon is above 0. To evaluate the quality of the lexicon, we create 2 baselines and 2 preliminary versions of the lexicon. The first baseline is most frequent sense baseline, and we assign the most frequently annotated sense, which is sight, with a float value of 1 to each lemma post pair in the lexicon. And in the second baseline, we calculated LSA similarities between our candidate words and the words see, hear, taste, smell, and touch in an LSA space. This LSA space is created by using the subset of LDC that we already used for the construction of the lexicon. And we also created 2 preliminary versions of the lexicon before bootstrapping and after bootstrapping. In this table, we can see the F1 values for best and worst scorings for 2 tasks. Sensicon, as we can see, Sensicon outperforms the baselines and preliminary versions in both tasks and both of the evaluation measures. In here, we can see a very similar result. Lexicon, after bootstrapping, yields a very similar result in best scoring of the lemma task. However, it's a very limited set of words, and these words mostly have only one sense association. So its odd score in here, as we can see, is very low in comparison to Sensicon. When we look at the sentence-based task, we see that LSA provides in the out of 2 task, out of 2 measure, LSA provides a very high performance. In comparison to Sensicon, it's very close. Actually, this condition is our driving force to analyze further features to generate a sensorial lexicon. Um, as the last page, I'm going to explain some erroneous cases in this task. The first one is a story sentence. He went to sleep again, snored until the window shook. In here, our gold standard says it's a hearing sentence, but Sensicon classifier could classify it as a touch sentence. Even if, from here we can understand that even if there is a dominant sense word such as snore, some negative associations can decrease the association value of the category because we are taking the average of the association values to classify the sentence. So we need a better classification approach, obviously. And also, the problem in here is also caused by MPMI, because MPMI still suffers from the sensitivity to low frequency data coming from PMI. Our second error case is a advertisement slogan. It's a 100% pure skew sunshine, and the gold standard says it's a sight word, but Sensicon says it's a touch word. Actually, sometimes it's not possible or it's debatable to classify sentences with metaphorical transfer. In here, we can see a synesthetic metaphorical transfer, which uses touch and sight word together. To conclude, this is the first attempt in the literature to generate a sensorial lexicon. And we used a bootstrapping and corpus statistic approach to generate the lexicon, and we evaluated the lexicon by using a crowdsourcing task. Our promising results allow us to consider sensorial information as a feature for various tasks and applications, such as linguistic creativity, or metaphor processing, or automated content personalization. Thank you very much. Our lexicon is available upon request to the authors.
Questions?
Thanks for the nice talk. I have two questions. The first one is, can you give more intuition about why you are using WordNet for bootstrapping, but not, the raw text on documents? Documents might be more noisy, but it might provide more comprehensive information. And my second question is, can you be more specific about your stopping condition for your bootstrapping strategy? It's like you're measuring precision and recall, but on what data set?
On what data sets?
How your precision and recall are obtained.
Okay. For your first question, we assume that by using the relations from WordNet, such as direct antonymy, similarity, or hyponymy, or some other relations, we can transmit the sensorial load of the synsets. We can transmit the sensorial load of the words. That's why we used WordNet relations for the bootstrapping stage. And for your other question, here, let me show you another slide. Here are our precision and recall calculations. The best and by using the best and odd scorings, we are creating a precision and recall values. It's actually for the precision we are getting we are summing the scores summing the scores, and then we are dividing them into the I'm so sorry. Here are our calculations. Right now, I cannot remember exactly the things, but and then we use these precision and recall values to create the F1 values.
Any other questions? Well, I have a question. There's some interesting differences in the sense categories regarding the frequency of terms that you find in each of the sense categories and the performance on them, right? So do you have any, I guess two questions. Can can you speculate about what that says about how we perceive the world? And the other question is, can you make use of that in your automated detection of sense words? Have you thought about trying to make use of some kind of weighting for terms that, based on what sense it is?
Can you elaborate your question a little bit more?
Well, for the 5 different senses,
yes,
you have different frequencies of terms that you find,
yes,
right? And so that that reflects something about the way we describe the world.
yes.
Yeah. So do you have any thoughts about that?
For the describing about the world with our
something
senses.
about the cognitive implications of
yeah.
what senses we depend on most for what sorts of things that we're discussing.
Yeah, actually, there are some studies about it. To the usage of the senses to describe our world. It's the senses that we are perceived by, with our body, and the senses which are used for coming from our cognitive science, like cognitive senses, which are like sight or hearing or and the touch-related ones, like touching, tasting, and these are like how can I explain? The frequencies are the number of the usage of the sensorial words. The most common one is the sight, and then hearing, and then the touch related, the physical ones. It changes like that in our cognitive.
Well, it was very interesting that for the beverages and the food, taste terms did not appear
Yeah,
that much.
And an interesting thing is that we are, in English especially, the smell-related words are the frequency of the smell-related words are very low.
Yeah.
We are almost never used smell-related things, like when we are explaining our world. Like we are not using them at all.
Yeah. So, are there any other questions? I think we have time for one last very quick question. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's thank the speaker again.